there have actually been a couple of links to a couple of specific players over the course of the international break, because I'm sure you've seen links to Borussia Dortmund's Nico Schlotterbeck, as well as Bayern Munich's Dayot Upamecano. And those two are really interesting links because obviously they're playing quite well for their clubs, but I think they're probably better passers than they are probably defenders. And do you think that kind of reinforces the type of player that Liverpool are looking for in the back line? Because there were those links to Bournemouth Dean Howson before he obviously went to Real Madrid, but he maybe not as good of a pure defender as, say, Ibrahim Konate, but probably better on the ball.
Yeah, and I think you can see it in watching Liverpool play this season that they need a passer in central defence now. It wasn't previously the case that they needed two brilliant passers at centre half because they had one in Virgil. They also had Trent at right back who was an unbelievable progressor of the ball, and in fact Andy Robertson, who's quite underrated in that regard. So they didn't necessarily need that, and Konate could kind of shield his weaknesses through that. But now you've lost Trent, now that Robertson's not in the team as frequently, there's a real lack of progression, isn't there, from that kind of back four, and it's becoming a big issue because when teams sit on Liverpool and they press high, they're really struggling to find ways around that. Now, I think that's something Liverpool are going to have to solve without signings, by the way. I think little rotations in midfield, ways of working it out, telling Kirkes to stop facing inside whenever he receives the ball. Those will be nice ways around it, and I think that's something the manager has to do. But in the long term, yeah, they definitely need more passes at the back, and I think it's clear if Konate doesn't sign a new contract, they're going to need another centre half. And I think, Gay's going to come in. I would still feel confident that Gay eventually signs. I still think that's in the pipeline. But I think that the trade-off was going to be for this season that maybe Joe Gomez would leave if Mark Gay came in, whereas that will probably still happen down the line. We see a Joe Gomez departure, Mark Gay come to the club. Then I think, the names like Schlotterbeck and Upamecano are maybe more preparation for the possibility of Konate going, because they're going to need another one then. So, it looks like that's how that's kind of shaping up. I don't think anything concrete in either, but I think Schlotterbeck definitely liked Upamecano. I'm a little bit sceptical about those links, but we'll see. So, yeah, just a case of kind of wait and see. I don't think any of those moves are going to be in the short term. I think if anyone comes in January, it'd probably be more likely to be Gay. And the other two are maybe keeping an eye on in case Ibrahim Konate gets off in the summer.
Do you think Upamecano's name is just cropping up because his contract is expiring at the end of the season? Because I know that Liverpool were linked to him in the past. Obviously, he played at Leipzig with Konate. But maybe, like you were saying there, maybe the links to Nico Schlotterbeck are a bit more solid.
Yeah, I think so. I think Schlotterbeck makes a lot more sense for Liverpool. I think he's a better player as well. I think Upamecano's got mistakes in him. I mean, maybe Liverpool see it as an opportunity, but there are weaknesses there in Upamecano that I just think will get exposed regularly in the Premier League. So he would kind of surprise me as a signing. And, all the links previously to him were basically a bit of misdirection, really, is that a lot of people thought they were in for Upamecano. It was actually Konate who they'd been watching at RB Leipzig. So I've never really been massively convinced that Liverpool are a huge on Upamecano. And, yeah, I'd be surprised if that was one that happened. Schlotterbeck, on the other hand, I think that's someone they definitely do like and have watched. But of course, like I say, whether that becomes anything or not, we'll have to wait and see, because I think that's one maybe for the summer rather than January.